A new study from UC San Diego found that 1 in 8 of their incoming freshmen can't do high school, middle school, and in some cases elementary school level math, largely due to COVID-19 related learning loss. The study found that the number of students enrolling in remedial math courses, which are courses that cover math skills below the college level, increased 30-fold in the last 5 years. In 2020, their remedial math class, which is called Math 2, had 32 students. But since then, the number of students enrolling in that class grew so much that they had a staffing crisis in the math department and had to create a separate remedial math class called Math 3B. The study provides some examples of math problems that the Math 2 students struggled with. So here is an 8th grade level algebra problem that only 2% of the Math 2 students got right. And here is another one, a 1st grade level arithmetic problem that 25% of the math students got wrong. And what's really concerning about this is the study notes that starting college off in such a disadvantaged position has effects that hold well into the future. So it notes that most of the engineering students that were enrolled in Math 2 never ended up finishing their degrees. The study blames the explosion in remedial math enrollment on the pandemic, and numerous studies have shown that school lockdowns and remote learning have had a negative impact on educational outcomes, and that states that had longer lockdowns took a bigger hit to their academic performance than states that had shorter lockdowns. And now you're really starting to see that affect this generation of Americans who really had no say in the matter. In fact, the study notes that students who were in school during the pandemic for any period never fully recovered even by the time they graduated. COVID-era school absenteeism also hasn't ended despite the fact that the pandemic is over. California students who are exhibiting chronic absenteeism, which means you miss 10% of the school year or more, sits above 20% right now, which isn't as high as the pandemic high of 30%, but it's still way above the pre-pandemic level of 14%. Some of the other factors the study points to are the elimination of standardized testing in the UCs and also grade inflation in high schools. And the study notes that a lot of the students who were struggling with middle school level math in Math 2 took much more advanced math classes in high school. While this study is only about one school, it coincides with test scores around the country falling to their lowest level in 2 decades this year. And the Trump administration is using these falling test scores to push their own agenda. When the Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, who is a billionaire former pro wrestling executive who has never attended public school in her life, was asked about these falling test scores, she blamed her own department. And this week, she took steps to close the Department of Education entirely.